Hello, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Clickbait with my co-hosts here.
Hi, I'm Kilobyte.
And I'm Onyx.
And on today's special episode, we have another fantastic guest with us, Jason Marnocha, the voice of Megatron in the Prime Wars Trilogy series and Megatron and Galvatron in Transformers War for Cybertron. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you. I feel like that was a lovely intro. I've got a lot to live up to now. Oh.
We try, we do our best.
For the leader of the Decepticons.
Like, oh my God, I'm fantastic? Oh no.
Always fantastic.
Oh. Well, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, of course. Starting up with the first question, let's start with you telling us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'm obviously a voice actor. That is my chosen profession. I'm originally from Indiana. Growing up, I always had like a penchant for impressions and messing around with my voice and such, but it was just sort of like a parlor trick, a hobby, that sort of thing. So I never really, because of course when I was, that young and it was a pre-internet age, so it was sort of, well, at least pre-mass internet, I guess, but it was more like, just something I was goofing around with. It didn't seem like, I didn't even fully understand how voiceover worked, right? Until, playing around with it, doing theater things in high school and such like that, and then went off to college for screenwriting, hilariously enough, and then switched over my major to radio, and they had a voiceover department, and that's sort of the origin story. And since then, I've been pursuing voiceover and been living out here in Los Angeles and having a great time. Having a great time doing Transformers included. So it's always fun.
Such a fun journey.
Yeah.
That's the most condensed version of that I think I can render.
That's fabulous. That's
I
fabulous.
was like, oh God, what have I done with my life?
We all dread the same thing.
Yes. That's always the hardest question, is tell us about yourself.
Oh yeah. I'm like, no. Who are you? What are you, a cop?
Who am I?
Oh my goodness. We're not in Kansas anymore.
No.
Well, moving on to our second question. What first brought you into the world of Transformers? Was it a show, the comic book series, or maybe when you booked the role?
I'm so glad you said the last one, because it's the last one. Like growing up, it was, for me, it was a lot of, I wasn't really into the things that a lot of my contemporaries were into, in so much as mainly because I just had so many friends who were into both Transformers and like Power Rangers and stuff. And I just wasn't really into either of them. I don't quite know why. I think it's because I was spending most of my time being obsessed with like Star Wars and like Lord of the Rings and things like that, and like a lot of books and things. Like I was into like very more specific things, I guess. Like for some reason those two just weren't really on my radars. I mean, when I was cast as Megatron, my basic understanding was Megatron bad guy, Optimus Prime good guy, and that's kind of all I really knew. So, and really, it's a little more complicated than that, but that was just sort of my base understanding going in. And hilariously enough, I actually auditioned for Optimus, Megatron, Starscream, and I think those were the main ones. I actually auditioned for all of them. And it's one of those things like you send off an audition and you're supposed to forget about it, not like want it too much or anything like that. But I remember being like, man, this would be a lot of fun to get involved with, because like, I tell you, like this is one, it's a big property, and two, it's like, I'd never really looked at this before. So it was even like kind of prior to getting cast, I did start to sort of look it up a little more and go like, what is Transformers really? Like, what's what's going on with these robots? Why are they in disguise? Like just checking it out a little bit more. And then when I was properly cast, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I should probably look into this and understand it a little bit more. So it's been that kind of journey, I guess.
It's only,
fantastic.
eons of lore to catch up on.
Exactly. No big deal. Something a weekend could take care of.
So that's a great segue to this next question. Tell us about the process you went to like capturing and preparing for the role of Megatron, and how you found their voice and like their personality.
Oh, that was interesting. So the first show we did, the Prime Wars Trilogy, which was the Prime Wars Trilogy.
It certainly was.
It was a thing. It was a thing that happened. It was a lot of fun to do. And I suppose that my process for that was, I think, if my memory is right, it was revealed in the audition sides that they were going to have Megatron turn into a tank. rather than a gun, which I am all for because, you know, like the gun shooting thing is fine, you know, like turn into a gun and hop into Starscream's hand. That's fine. There's nothing particularly that I object to about it. But I think that a tank being a specific like weapon of war is like something sort of integral to the Megatron character. So him turning into a tank, I thought was really neat.
Yeah, it's just a bigger gun.
Exactly. It's just a bigger gun and it's slightly more
really
mobile. Exactly.
Yeah, he's a strong, independent bot. He don't need nobody.
You don't need no Starscream.
You don't need Starscream. Get out of here.
Exactly. So, like, I remember that being interesting, and I was like, okay, so how do I characterize Megatron? Having no real, you know, I hadn't heard Frank Welker's Megatron. I hadn't heard any of these things. Like, you know, I wasn't really familiar with it and whatever. So I was like, okay, well, if he sounds like a great rumbling engine, and we just give like that sort of life to it and give him big teeth, then we'll reach something. And so the initial audition was this. And then when we started, well, I can stop doing that now. When we started actually recording was when the director, Eric, was like, well, what if we try and like segue it and he'll use the growl for emphasis. So the actual voice sits here. And then when he's emphasizing something, Starscream, then it'll go down again. And it'll like go in and out and ebb and flow as he speaks. And so we sort of landed on that for Megatron, and it developed a little more into the like that exact sound come the Netflix show. But originally, when we were doing like Combiner Wars, that was what we did, and it was lovely to get cast because one, I love playing a bad guy, I do it a lot, and
You
you
do
know
a
they
fantastic
have.
job.
No, thank
Yeah.
you. And, you know, they have, like, the most interesting, you know, like, outfits and tend to have the more poignant backstories and whatever. Like, you know, playing a bad guy is
You
always
usually
fun.
have the flair too. You know,
Oh, the
little
flair.
divas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Or in this case, you know, like, and that's what's interesting is, like, going in, I'm like, okay, bad guy Megatron, bad guy Megatron. And he's not really a bad guy in the show, right? He's, like, banished sassy Megatron, like he's not really particularly evil. Like
We love
so
a sassy
it was
Megatron.
He was so sassy in the
So sassy.
Combiner
Oh my
Wars
God.
series. Like
Transform
the one-liners are
rollout.
fantastic.
Like, yeah, he's, you know, yeah, he's just ribbing everyone. Like, bless him for that. So it was interesting to like sort of prepare for ultimate villainy, and then it's like, but he's retired. And he's just sort of fighting everybody in a big arena. And I'm like, oh, cool. Okay. Like, all right, I'm game for that. So that was a lot of fun. And I always thought that there was something very poignant about his design in that show that spoke to me from when, like, the first time I saw it, which was he has the big scar down his face. And then I really liked that the Decepticon logo is like half scraped off on his chest. I thought that was like really indicative of like, oh, okay, we're at this point in this character's life. Right. So, yeah, that was sort of how we went about it. We just sort of morphed it into where it sat in the show, and I just got to think everybody else in the room was an idiot, especially Optimus. So that was great fun.
That's such a fun take on developing that voice and giving it such a unique like sound combination.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I think we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun with that show.
Moving on from Megatron, you have voiced a variety of other characters in TV shows, video games, and movies. What are some of those characters outside of Transformers that have been your favorite to play?
Ooh, that's interesting, because let's see. Well, a couple of them are things that came out recently or that I've been working on recently, so that's fun to get to add that. That's a rare thing I find, to be able to like, oh, I have recent answers too. You know, usually it's like, well, a chunk of years ago I got to do this, which was a lot of fun. So it's nice to also have more recent answers. But like, let's see, the Katana Man from Chainsaw Man, he's a lot of fun, because Chainsaw Man's just weird. Like, it's great. It's so
It's
bizarre.
pretty all over the place.
Oh, yeah, all over the place. But, you know, getting to play a dude with a sword through his face, like, how cool is that? Right? Yeah, he's awesome. He's kind of like, I described him as being like a mix of, like, Cronin from Hellboy and, like, a Cenobite from the Hellraiser series or something.
Nice. Yes.
Yeah, right? Victor from Lackadaisy. I really like Victor.
Mm-hmm.
Lackadaisy is a lot of fun. Booze Cats. Check it out if you haven't.
Who's cats?
Yeah, Lackadaisy. And then also Knuckleduster from My Hero Academia Vigilantes. He's been a lot of fun. I've been playing him for the last few weeks. And
Oh, that came out recently too.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
that's,
yeah.
That
That's
was very
fun.
recent, yeah.
yeah, he's basically like Batman in that world. So he's a lot of
Yes.
fun. Yeah, I'm really enjoying playing him. He's been so much fun. And the sessions are fun too, because we're all just laughing and having a good time.
That's great.
And then Ken the Butcher from the Gaslight District pilot that just dropped.
Ooh, that
Another
just
guy
came
with
out.
a melee weapon in his head.
Typecast?
I'm all for, as a collector of pointy things, I'm a big fan. So yeah. He's a lot of fun. I just think that pilot is so gorgeous. Like I had so much fun with that thing, and then you get
So
to see
good.
it, and it's like, oh my god, this turned out great. Like this is
It's a
so
lot of
wonderful.
fun.
Yeah, so those characters I'm having a lot of fun with, especially.
Well, moving on to our next question. We've talked about the characters you voiced and your process to becoming a voice actor, but who has been your biggest inspiration in this process?
Oh, interestingly enough, Mark Hamill was the biggest inspiration for me, I think, because
Oh, I think I see
his,
it now.
Cool.
yeah, like not only was he, obviously Luke Skywalker and as a huge Star Wars fan, much as this may shock you, I'm a Darth Vader fan, much as that's true. But at the same
With the melee
time,
weapon.
yeah, exactly, there he is with a melee weapon.
Is that the one from the War Trek series?
No, the War Stars.
The War Stars. Thank you,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah. I got you.
That's the one. That's where they said Khan, right?
Yeah. Wait,
Yeah. Okay.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah.
I'm 80% sure.
Yeah.
I
The one
think
where
so.
he gets
I
his
think
arm
that's
chopped
what-
off, right?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
he said that
Yeah.
when they put the mask on and the suit.
The mask on?
Right?
That
Yeah,
would
because
make
he's
sense.
screaming, "Khan!"
Because he had a little bit
Yeah.
of asthma afterwards, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Doesn't
yeah.
breathe so great. The atmosphere's weird. What happens when it's a galaxy far, far away? You can't measure these things.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, Mark Hamill was a big inspiration, especially his work on Batman the Animated Series as the Joker. He's, that totally like transformed the character for me. Like, I would watch that show religiously when it was coming out. That was one of my absolute favorites was Batman, and that got me into Batman and getting into Batman comics and things like that. So that show is very, very important to me. And Mark Hamill, when we recorded, was it the second and third series in the Prime Wars Trilogy? When we started recording those, found out that Mark Hamill was being brought in to play Megatronus. And I'm like, what?
That's right. He did.
Yeah. So we get to have like scenes together. Like we get to exchange dialogue.
Oh, that's so
and it's
cool.
like, oh, it's so cool. And I'm like, I want to I don't care how long a line I have to stand in. Like I have to go to a con and I have that print of, it's a wide shot of Megatron turned away from the camera, sort of ready to fight. And then Megatronus is standing a distance away with his sort of hand out and stuff. And I have that in an 8x10 because I just screenshot that bit and then printed it off on an 8x10. Like I want Mark to sign it and just let him know, this really meant the world to me, man. That it may just be the show was exactly what it was, but this was an important thing for me. This really meant the world that we got to exchange some dialogue together. That means a lot. So that, that I don't know if I'm ever going to, I've gotten to work alongside, some really wonderful individuals and actors and, producers and things like that. But just getting to, I got to act with Mark Hamill. It's just incredible. I'm so
That's
grateful for that
That's
opportunity.
pretty cool.
Yeah, super awesome.
That's awesome.
You're heroes, right? What do you?
Awesome. Taking us to our next one. If you had the chance to do anything with Megatron in a follow-up movie, show, or season or TV show, what would you like to see your character go through or an arc with your character?
That's interesting because, I guess there's only one. So I've played retired Megatron, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've played Warlord Megatron in the Netflix show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess there's only a couple of other places I could feel like going with it. And I guess Autobot Megatron
Oh, that would
from
be
the
fun.
comics or whatever. That'd be fun to
That'd be
From the
try and do.
IDW
fun.
series?
Yeah, right? That'd be kind of fun.
That would be
Especially
fun.
because he would still have that voice. So he's sort of trying to overcome sounding so evil.
You did a good job. Oh, it sounds so menacing.
You
Why are you so angry?
wonderful creature.
Is that a threat?
Maybe. My good mornings are a threat. If you don't have a good morning, soldier.
That's
But
amazing.
so I do something like that, or I don't know, like Megatron is like a vengeful ghost or something would be
Oh, that'd
kind of
be
cool,
great.
right? Because it's
that
well,
would
what's
be
the other
fun.
next logical part of him? Because doesn't he dies in the Prime Wars trilogy, right? He sacrifices himself. Doesn't he die? I think he does. Why am I asking? I was in the show.
It's been 10 years, right? It came out
I think so.
2015.
I-
God.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it has been.
genuinely
And it's
don't.
just like nowhere to be found anymore, right? Like I don't
No,
even know
they
where
took
one
it off
watches
almost
it.
They took it
every
They
down.
took it
place.
down. It only exists as a special in some form of DVD,
Hmm.
like
Yeah,
special
the
CD.
Last Night has Combiner Wars. The Last Night
That's
like
it.
special
Yeah.
edition has Combiner
hmm
Wars in it. Yeah, but I don't think it has Titan's Return and I don't think it has Power of the Primes. So those are just lost, I guess. Like it's just lost
Or the
media.
lost media.
It's like a
Yeah.
movie from like 1923 or something. Like it's just a
Yeah.
lost piece of media now. It's so weird.
I'm sure
It's so
somebody can
weird.
find it out there,
They
though.
do exist, I think, on YouTube because I watched them only a few years ago.
Oh, that's right. They
Only
put them
some
up
of it's on
somewhere.
YouTube.
Yeah,
Oh,
surely.
some of us on YouTube. Maybe I saw it on
Hmm.
like
They have like season 1 and
Tubi or
3.
something. Yeah.
Fans,
I saw.
find
I think
them
I
and
watched
bring
all of
them to me.
Yes.
That's a request. That's a mission for all of you listening. Find them and bring them to me.
Yeah.
But hear me out. I have another pitch.
Oh, I do.
Baby Transformers, and then Megatron has a deep voice, and they're a
Oh
little
my
tiny
gosh.
Still
chibi.
sounds like this.
Kilo.
Yeah, bring me
It's
my
like
bottle.
the baby
Bring me my
what's
bottle.
the puppet show, but with Transformers.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Oh no.
It's like the baby Looney Tunes, but just Transformers.
Why do I feel
With
like
chibi
has that
heads.
happened before? Has it not happened before? And
I
if
don't
not,
think
why
so.
not?
I don't
There's
think
toys
so.
of it. There's like kindergarten series toys. but
Okay,
they
because I was
haven't
thinking,
been,
I'm
a
like, surely
show.
this
There's
has happened. I
Japanese
feel like I've seen
comics that are
this.
like that.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Gotcha. Because I was like, surely this has happened before. Like, we're all clearly brilliant, but we're not necessarily that brilliant. Like, well,
$1 million
don't give them
idea.
these
Let's go.
ideas for
Let's make
free.
it happen.
I can just envision Megatron in a throne of the little letter blocks,
Oh my
Oh my
god.
gosh.
Yup.
telling
Yup.
Starscream to bring me a bottle or something.
Yes.
Oh my god.
It's snacky time, Starscream.
Snacky time is the best time.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
cracking up.
I'll be down for my nap. I expect results when I awaken.
I could see them like fighting, and then the timer goes off, and it's like, okay, nappy time. Everybody just
Yeah,
goes
just
back
in
to
the
their
middle.
bases. Go to
We'll
sleep.
resume this skirmish later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here for this. I would totally do that. That rocks.
That's amazing. We've heard that one, and we've heard a Transformers musical.
Oh,
Are
I
the
so.
two
Oh my god.
biggest
Well,
ones we've
I mean,
heard.
I don't know about singing in Megatron's voice. That might suck, but it might. I don't know.
That's his character in the show. He refuses to sing, and then he does at the very end.
At the very end, he has like a very sweet, melodious voice.
Yeah, that'd be great. It's just he sounds all like strong and tough, and then he sings, and it's like a perfect tenor.
He's like
It's like
he's
a
like
little
a
classic,
lounge crooner. We'll meet again.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Then he
That'd be
just looks
fun.
at everyone. They're dumbfounded. He's like, "What?
This is why I didn't go to karaoke night, Starscream.
Yeah, oh my god! Judge me. I'm allowed to have a hobby."
My goodness. Moving on to our next question. If you could voice any other character in the shows, who would you pick?
You know, hilariously enough, and Frank knows this too, I was pushing for Starscream of the characters that I was auditioning for. I was like, Starscream would be a lot of fun, just because I really like those like duplicitous sort of characters, you know, like just absolutely like only out for himself. Like there's, you know, there have been redemption arcs, but as we've seen, they don't seem to stick. So, because it's Starscream.
It's Starscream.
Yeah. So I really like, you know, like no particular sense of honor, no real affiliation except like what he can find to benefit from. You know, there's something very fun about that sort of slippery worm tongue kind of character. You know, that's especially that. You know, the thing is, though, like, you know, I don't have a Chris Latta. That's not my, not in my wheelhouse very much. Like, I don't really have that sort of. So I don't really know what I would do for it necessarily. But probably more, I guess, more in lines with like what Steve Bloom does with Starscream. I suppose something a little more like that. Just by the nature of like where my voice usually sits. And he did a great Starscream too. But yeah, I guess that would be my answers. I would have been interested to play Starscream. I'm very grateful to play Megatron, and I feel like my answer, you know, might be Megatron otherwise. But I think Starscream would probably be my pick to answer that. Because he's a great character. Much as it's fun to give him crap and everything, it's you know, I do love the character.
Very
That would
fun.
be fun. That would be fun. Well, this moves on to our next question. It says, who's your favorite Transformers character and why?
That's interesting because while I said that like I would like to have possibly played Starscream, Yeah, I think ultimately I've come to find that my favorite character, and this may feel like a boring answer or something, but it is Megatron. Like Megatron has become my favorite character just because, especially as a villainous character, he gets to have so many facets to him. He's not at least the versions that I've gotten to play and everything. Like, he's not just mwahaha, I'm evil. Like mwahaha, I don't care if the planet dies, I'm mwahaha. Like he's not doing that. He's not twirling his mustache. He genuinely thinks that he is saving Cybertron, and I think that that's always, misguided characters like that who feel that they've been made the villain outside of their own choice is always kind of a palpable thing and an interesting thing. And so I think Megatron has become my favorite character initially out of necessity, but then out of no, I really think that there is a lot of meat here. Like there is a lot of, there is a lot of stuff to chew on. There's a lot of, especially in the Netflix show, like he's not entirely sure he agrees with some of the methods that they're ending up doing, right? Like he doesn't find it necessarily immediately morally correct to, reprogram Autobots into Decepticons or whatever, right? So, but then he eventually is like, well, for the greater good, like, here we go, so he eventually agrees to that, but it wasn't necessarily his original idea of like, yes, make them all suffer for my amusement. I don't care how many people we have to step on. Like, he was not really that kind of character, right? He's like, I don't think we should do this. This is gross. But then eventually it became out of necessity. So, so he's an interesting character like that. He can be persuaded. He can even be reasonable, but he can also be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So, what a well-rounded individual.
I did think it was interesting. So when the Netflix show kind of started off in Siege, and he was very uncertain, and then in the second one in Earthrise, he'd kind of accepted it and was more embracing this more evil version of himself. And then in Kingdom, he's like, oh, hold on a second. What am I doing?
There was a little bit of self-reflection when he started interacting with Galvatron.
Oh yeah.
Is this my future? Is this how I'm going to turn out?
Why is my future so purple? Don't worry about it. You'll love it.
You went diva. Full diva.
Well, I was going to throw you a curveball because you said you lean a lot more towards the villainous characters. But if you could pick from the Autobots, who would say is your favorite character?
That's tricky, man. Let's see. There's Optimus, there's Bumblebee, and the rest.
That's great.
Oh yes, the rest. I'm familiar with this character.
I don't know. Gosh, I mean, I have played Optimus before in an unofficial production, so there is that. But I don't know if I would put him as necessarily my favorite, because mostly I think he's a dork. and I feel like to some degree that should be how he is characterized, right? Like, am I crazy?
I think that's the trailer for this Q&A. I think he's a dork.
Lord Megatron, why don't you like Optimus? Well, he's a dork. Like, oh, well, that's true, my lord.
You have a point.
Gosh, I don't, I'm thinking, and obviously I know that there are more characters than just those two, but I'm thinking of gosh, Autobots. Okay, name me some other Autobots. Let's see if we can get this going here. Not too obscure, or I'll think you're making up words.
Grimlock. Not to be biased in any sense.
Ooh, good pull. Okay, good
That's
pull.
a good
pull.
one.
Grimlock's a good pull.
RC,
okay.
Jazz,
Alita 1.
Oh my god.
Jazz. Oh my gosh.
Jazz
Are we talking
is a good
Scatman Crothers specifically? Because that I could really get on board. Didn't Scatman Crothers play jazz? Okay. Because honestly, I'm tempted to lean specifically on Scatman Crothers jazz. But oh man, Grimlock's a good contender. Oh, that's
He is.
Yeah, totally
I feel
not
like you
biased.
could do a really That's totally not Onyx's favorite Transformer.
No, not at all.
There's also Prowl and Ratchet. I feel like you could do Prowl.
Oh yeah,
He's just kind of a grumpy guy.
He's
yeah,
very
that's
grumpy.
true.
Grumpy, like a grumpy cop.
Mm-hmm. Oh man. You know what? I'm going to go with Grimlock. I think he's such a delight.
Yeah.
You know
You
what?
get a
I'm going
Rod
to go with
Star.
Grimlock. Good pull. Good pull.
And if you join us for D&D, automatic inspiration. No,
Oh my gosh.
And
I
since
don't
I
play
am
favorites,
joining you for
remember
D&D, automatic inspiration. Excellent.
Oh my goodness. I'm so here for it.
Awesome. Well, our next question is going to talk about your top 3 favorite toy figures. Does not have to be Transformers related.
Okay.
It
Slash
doesn't have to be
collectibles.
toys if you don't
Yeah,
have
slash
it. Yeah, toys
collectibles.
slash
There you go.
collectibles.
In
Yeah,
case
here's my thing.
not toys.
Because arguably I do have, like, Megatron figures from the shows and stuff like that, because tee I'm an action figure, like, I gotta have that one. Like, it's just neat. It's just like, this is silly. I love it. Like, wonderful. This is me. Ha 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 ha. And other noises that people make, I'm sure. But honestly, I'm more of a statue collector. Like, I like statues of characters and things like that, whether they're PVC or, whatever that fake stone, polystone, I guess it's called, which just sounds like a purse manufacturer or something, if you ask me. But yeah, like I love collecting things like that, and and this may seem, I don't know if self-aggrandizing is the word, but it is one of my absolute favorite statues that I have is, like, it was like a limited edition run that I had to pre-order like a year or something ahead of it, and it is of the Katana Man from Chainsaw Man.
Oh,
It's
that's
like
awesome.
2 feet
cool.
tall or something.
Oh my
Like, it's
gosh.
crazy.
It's a small
It's like
child.
huge. Yeah, well, it's probably not 2 feet tall. It's probably, let me see here. It's probably like 16, 18 inches, something like that, maybe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's still a big boy, but it's like stupid detailed, and it's just like, he's snarling, and he's got like guts on the ends of his sword, and he's like just blood spews everywhere. Like, it's very, very metal. So I really like that statue. I have no idea where to put it in the house. It doesn't really go with our very sort of Victorian haunted mansion decor. Just suddenly have this as a centerpiece somewhere. So I'm not really sure about that. But yeah, I also have, toys-wise, I will say this. I have there's a huge version of Megatron that I have that I really like. It's superposable. I couldn't remember which one it is, but it's G1 looking Megatron.
Okay.
But that one is probably close to 2 feet tall.
I know you have the MP5.
Oh, the one you turned into a pistol for me?
Yeah, that one. I know you have
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, I have that one.
I don't know if you have any other ones.
I do. I have the other one that it doesn't transform, but it is like 2 feet tall, and it's Megatron. Like, all of his finger knuckles are individually articulated. Like, it's stupid
That's so
posable.
Oh, I
Yeah.
really enjoy when the figures have articulated figures, because
Yeah.
I like to promote one of them.
There you go.
Yeah. There is a Netflix version of Megatron. I think it's a 3.0. That's MD
Oh,
Deluxe.
I have that one. I have
Yeah.
that one. I have that
That
one
one's
too.
really nice too.
Yeah,
because
that one
those are
that's
usually
like-
pretty big.
Yeah, and he also, his eyes glow and his chest
Yeah.
buttons
Oh,
glow,
that's awesome.
and and it has like a bunch of interchangeable hands, and it's like
Yeah.
brushed metal. Like, that one's really nice. I really like that one. But yeah, between that and my huge Megatron, and I collect a lot of like Lord of the Rings statues. I collect a lot of swords, a lot of movie props, things like that, or at least replicas of movie props. I don't collect proper movie props. I'm not doing that well, but. Things like, here, it's the bird from the Maltese Falcon, things like that. Like, I'm that kind of film guy. But yeah, those are probably some of my main favorites. Good pull on the 3.0 Megatron. Yeah, that's one of my absolute favorites. It's just so cool to see. Like, they were gonna do, I think it was Prime Studio was gonna do a Megatron from the Netflix show, and like I was all set to pre-order it and stuff, but then, like, I guess lack of interest, they didn't end up making
Oh,
it.
no.
And I'm like,
no.
oh well. But yeah, it was deeply cool. Like, 'cause it's just crazy to see, like, but that's my Megatron, like that. He has those luscious lips. He has those
Luscious lips.
those very kissable lips. Look at that. Yeah. So at least that's what I remember seeing on the internet when it came out. Everyone was like, "They're so kissable," and I'm like, "He's a very big boy, but you can probably still kiss him."
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Anyway,
Anyway, on another note, do you have any side projects that you're currently working on, or any projects that you're able to talk about?
there's the catch, right? Because
Yes.
technically, with that caveat, the answer is no.
Yeah.
Do I have side projects I'm working on? Yes. Am I allowed to talk about them? No. But yeah, like, personally, nothing particular that it does suck. Oh, I'm sorry. I try not to swear. But although that was pretty light for me, to be fair.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, good job, Jason. You're learning how to function in a society that doesn't need to swear every other word. But yeah, I can't really don't really have anything I can particularly talk about, which is tragic because I do love to promote things. But watch the Gaslight District if you haven't. Check it out because we're trying to make that into a proper show and continue more episodes. So
Right on.
please check it out on the YouTubes, everybody.
YouTube's sick.
I don't know if it's that sick. It's a non-answer, really. But
I mean, we throw that caveat in there because we know oftentimes
Right.
actors can't talk about their projects. So sometimes and very frequently the answer is yes, but I can't talk about it.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
got it. So
Or
That
there's
is-
like
that is
personal
very
projects
common,
they like
yeah.
to promote that they
Yeah.
can't talk about.
my personal projects are too evil to discuss. Can't do it.
Kilo, I think you
hysterical.
have the hardest question.
I do have the hardest question.
Oh,
What is something nobody knows about you that you wish more people did know?
ooh, that's tricky. I can do more than just low voices. Casting directors don't seem
That's
to know
great.
that.
That's
Casting
great.
directors have no idea,
That's
apparently.
pretty funny.
No, not really. I just tend to get cast in low voices a lot, so it's always a joke that it's like I can go higher. I promise. Like you just give me a shot, guys. But gosh, something that I wish more people knew, especially in voiceover stuff. Like I can sing, and like no one ever lets me sing.
That's so
Like
sad.
I can sing, and I enjoy singing. I play a few different instruments. I love music, and I play the saxophone, the violin, the piano, the organ.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Oh, it's great to sit, in the living room where our little pump organ is, and just sit there and just blare out things, and it's very fun. I'm sure the neighbors are concerned at the level of haunting going on in our house. But they're like, they're so haunted, it comes with a soundtrack.
That's awesome.
That's
Yeah,
great.
but I guess those are some of the main things that I wish. And also that I do wish people weren't so intimidated to meet me, because I play such like spooky characters or whatever, and such like sometimes very evil or powerful characters. A lot of folks have often said to me, including folks that I like work with, are like, I was so nervous to meet you because I thought you'd be whatever. And it's like, oh no, I promise I'm pretty chill. Like I was raised to be very polite. So I try not to upset anyone. I try to get along with everybody. I like to think I'm pretty chill. So like don't be frightened of me. I promise I don't bite.
That's awesome.
Fantastic. And then we're reaching the end of the Q&A. Do you have any questions for us?
Let's see. Okay. Oh, now it's my turn. Oh, how the turntables. Oh, ho, ho, dear reader. Let's see. Gosh, what? Okay, who are your favorite? If you had to pick a favorite Decepticon, a favorite Autobot, what are you
no.
guys? What is your thing?
Not it.
Not it. Okay.
Oh.
Well,
Everyone's
So-
pointing pistols at each other
I
like
know.
Pirates of the Caribbean. Like we're all.
Well, I think Autobot is definitely Grimlock. I
you
probably
go.
have at least, we'll say at least, we won't say at most, at least too many figures of them.
At
And-
least too many.
At least too many.
That's a great metric.
And then Decepticon, that's such a hard question because they're all like complex and they're great backstories and like their
See, I've turned the
personalities
cannons
are
around the other way.
Yeah.
fantastic. Now this is going to be I think a crazy poll, but I really like Shattered Glass version of Megatron.
Okay, I actually know what you mean by that. So, excellent. Good pull.
But yeah, I think that's my answer.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think my favorite Autobot is probably Bumblebee.
That tracks.
I have the car
You
and,
drive
and
him
all
around.
that. I do drive him around, and he didn't used to be, but after having like more and more stuff, he's kind of gotten to be that way. Like, he's kind of my favorite. And then Decepticon is so hard because the Autobots are like, yeah, we're the good guys. That's kind of our character trait, but each Decepticon is so unique.
That's true. It is sort of the Autobots are like, we are good. And then that
Yeah.
sort of often ends like their development, which is
No
not
one
necessarily a
is
knock
battle.
against it, but it is like sometimes for, like narratives for, kids TV or whatever, like you don't need more than that. And you're trying to get the story going, right? So like, it's not even a
Yeah.
criticism so much as just that's what it is.
And it's so hard to pick favorites now because it's not just the character anymore. It's these are my friends. I know these people.
Yeah.
I'm like, how am I supposed to pick? It feels like picking like a favorite child or something. And I'm definitely I love the Jets. I'm a big
Yeah.
Seeker fan, but I've always definitely had Megatron also as a favorite, but it would be for sure like a tie between like Starscream and Megatron just because I love the Jets and I love Starscream, but also I just love his character concept because he's not a straight up bad guy. Goes from such like he does the wrong things for the right reasons at first, and then it just kind of gets more and more corrupted. And I don't know, it's so hard. And then my personal favorite, who's not really a Decepticon or an Autobot, is the Transformers Prime Predaking, because he's a dragon.
Ooh, yeah,
And
yeah.
he's my favorite. He's like my favorite, but he's not
Nice.
really an Autobot or a Decepticon. So there's my non-answer for you.
Honestly, I think that is a good answer though, and it is true. Like I remember that not to pull the mic back over, but like I remember that awakened something in me about Megatron, where it was like I remember that I made a note at one point because the showrunner and I were discussing it with the Netflix show, where it wasn't necessarily something to convey, but something to keep in mind that Megatron. It was very simple. It was just Megatron feels very deeply,
Mm-hmm.
and that could be and like he believes very passionately. He's very much that kind of character, and that can turn to evil ends and things like that. But it is like a core part of his character that I think makes him just endlessly fascinating. I completely agree. I think that was a good answer, and not just because it's me.
Yeah, because it's like he sees himself as the hero, not the villain, obviously.
Yeah, every good villain thinks they're the hero. Like
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean,
And
there
he-
are exceptions. The Joker's a great villain, and he knows he's a piece. He's not
Oh, yeah.
great. Oh, caught
Yes,
myself. Caught
yes.
myself. Almost did a swear. I'm a good boy.
It was so cool.
Kilobyte, your turn.
Yeah, kill,
Well, unlike my co-host trying to get brownie points by selecting Megatron,
What? Oh my gosh.
I knew you were gonna say that.
if
too.
I
It's
do
like,
have to
oh.
select a Megatron for brownie points, I will say I love the Armada design because I love the beetle horns.
Oh, there
that
you
he
go
has.
with like the sort of big pincer head. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that design. That's one of my favorite Megatron designs. But I think I've always leaned towards Shockwave. Shockwave has always been one of my
yeah.
favorites, design-wise.
Are you
and-
saying that because other Jason plays Shockwave?
No. And then for Autobot side, recently has become Jazz. I think I feel like Jazz has become more of the spotlight character. Like they've done more things with him. So I've been leaning towards Jazz. But my overall time favorite is the Armada Jetfire, because that was the first time I saw an Autobot that could fly, and I was like, that is the coolest thing I can see, and that design is amazing.
They
So
fly now.
They fly.
they fly now.
Fantastic, good answers. Well, you got me. So that was the main thing, because I'm always like, what do like proper like in the trenches like Transformers fans think? Like what are their favorites? Because like my favorites like which one's the bad guy? Like whatever. I don't like my understanding of Transformers is very mild compared to like you three. So I'm always interested to hear what folks who are more deep in the fandom think. So those were all excellent answers. Well done.
A lot of mine do fluctuate because we do read the comics,
Oh, of
so
course.
some characters do get more
Yeah.
spotlights.
Oh,
but I do
sure.
like the obscure characters a lot more because we don't get to see them that often, and a lot of the times is based on color and design. So some of them are like neon colors. I'm like, those are cool colors. I like you now.
You're my favorite.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
enjoy most Transformers, or all Transformers have someone as their favorite. Like everyone I met, they've named someone different. I mean, obviously you have your Optimus, your Bumblebee, your Megatrons, and Soundwaves and Seekers, but like it's everyone
Wow.
has a
Wow.
favorite except for one guy. One guy, his name's Getaway. No one likes that guy. He's mean.
No one likes Getaway.
He's a good villain though.
He's a good villain.
Yeah, very fun. Moving on to our next question. Where can the listeners find you?
I mean, I hope they don't. No, you can find me on Blue Sky or Instagram under the handle just the letter J and then Marnocha. And and also, thank you for saying Marnocha properly. I know you know how to say it, but so many people this week that I'm working with are like Maracha, Marinaroka. I'm like, you're adding letters.
Oh my gosh.
Stop. Don't make this worse.
Marinara.
Yeah, marinara, mocha. That's not enough letters now. Hang on, like. And,
I like
yeah,
marinara.
you can. I mean, sensible folk do. But so yeah, you can find me at J Marnocha on Blue Sky and Instagram and wherever books are sold.
Nice.
And listeners will have those down in the description for you. Kilobyte,
And
you
all
have
the
last
links
question.
to all the projects that Jason has mentioned. Ooh.
Yes.
And finally, our last question. Are there words of wisdoms or something special you would like to say to the listeners?
Yeah. It's like, especially in the world of voiceover, it's tough out there. Everybody thinks that there's certainly Hang on, let me think. You can chop this stammering out. Let me think of how to phrase this. Let's see. Or you can have me going if you want.
No,
but
editor,
man, I'm
clip
trying.
that.
Yeah.
We'll clip that.
But yeah, let's see. I suppose my words of wisdom would be to, like, especially in voiceover, there's plenty of room in the pool. It is important to come prepared. It is important to... No, that's not good. Hang on. How do I... That sounds pedantic. Let me think of a better way to say this. The unfortunate thing is you've asked words of wisdom from someone who is not wise.
I don't know. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Well, I am also notoriously self-deprecating, so I appreciate that.
Not allowed on this show.
Ah, dang. There it is.
Wonderful
Only
and
positive
brilliant.
vibes here.
Ah, slap the rules down on Megatron. Well, okay, let me think here. Because maybe that's not even a good wisdom, because nobody asked me about voice. So, all right, I tell you what, I'll give more generic wisdom. Here we go. Okay, so I think that in terms of something that I would offer, and this seems silly or trite, but this is something that I actually found to be decent philosophy, and I sort of carry it with me all the time, and it is from Buckaroo Banzai, if you've ever seen it. Remember, no matter where you go, there you are. And keep that in mind, because, you know, like you can't necessarily change circumstance. You have to make the most of, you know, that's crap wisdom too. Damn it.
Cut that.
I'm trying. Oh, yeah. No.
It's just car horn.
Yeah, see, I can't do that. It's a traffic jam. My language is a traffic jam. Okay, I have better wisdom here. Take 3, shall we?
Okay, you got
Thank
it.
you for your
all of them
patience,
so far.
everyone, as I'm trying to gather
Yes,
thought.
they're
Because I
all
feel like
great.
there has to be a correct answer to this somehow. You know what I mean?
They're all
Like, I
correct.
feel like this has to be at least decent. Okay. I guess if I had any wisdom to impart, it's to don't let them get you down, and them could be anybody really, but certainly naysayers. If you have something you want to pursue, whether it's voiceover, whether it's, you know, any other form of art, whether it's anything like that, just pursue it at your own pace, in your own time, but don't let it go. Hold on to that. Keep going. You'll get there. It may take some time, but you will get there. I got there. You can get there. Keep at it.
Fantastic.
Lovely.
There we go.
Awesome. That's
See,
a
I can
wrap,
make words
everybody. Good
sometimes.
That's a
job.
wrap.
That is a wrap.
Thank
Absolutely.
you so much, Jason, for joining us.
Oh.
And reminder to listeners, all his details will be in the descriptions below, and to go follow them on all the platforms of their choice. Thank you so much again for joining us, Jason.
No, my absolute pleasure.
Till all are one.
Till all are one.
Till all are one.